Part 3. Prologue. Can I try on your dress, the one with the purple flowers all over and the bow in the back that you wore to Aunt Lillian's and Aunt Harriet's party, and it puffs out when you turn around? The little sisters were in her room now. She had just finished telling them for the 100th time probably about Uncle Morris and the light cord, and about how she had been picked to recite the Thanksgiving wish in the parlor. Can I? They were like the old backwoods girls, always thinking that everything she did was wonderful and marveling over the few items she had brought with her from Adelphi Hills. The party dress, the rose-bordered handkerchief, the lilac, dried out now and beginning to flake, that she had worn last year in her hair. But the little sisters were real, and Maggie didn't call them dummies or tell them they were too ugly or too poor to try on her purple dress. She even did up the buttons for them and tied the belt in the back so the bow lay straight and flat, not up and down. Tell us about the party. The little girl's voice came from somewhere inside the dress. She had begun to push herself into it, and the skirt with its fields of tiny violets hung from her head like a lampshade. Tell about the food. The dress suddenly began to dance and shake as she hunted around inside with her hands for the armholes. Maggie held the sleeves out while first one small arm and then the other pushed through. The dress was too long. Its hem came down to her ankles, but the little girl pulled up the waist and spun around, just as Maggie had done exactly 1 year ago today, so that the skirt ballooned out like a parasol. Tell us, the older girl said. She was sitting on the bed, pressed up against Maggie's side, and sometimes she played with Maggie's long, soft hair. Maggie began to tell them. She told about how she and her aunts had gotten the parlor ready, with the dishes set out on the table and the chairs arranged in a circle. She told about what Aunt Harriet and Aunt Lillian wore, and about how they had surprised her with a dress of her own, the first new dress she had ever been given for as long as she could remember. She told about how the two aunts had baked all the cookies with wheat germ and filled the candy bowls with things like raw cauliflower and celery hearts. She told them, in fact, everything that happened up to the moment the first doorbell rang. But she couldn't tell them anything beyond that because, as it turned out, the party she attended that day, a year ago, May 14th, was not the same one for which her aunts had bought her the dress, and it didn't take place in their parlor.